I'm Huell Hauser, and right now I'm riding high up over the beach here in Santa Cruz, one of our state's most beautiful and historic communities.
Break loose on the boardwalk, on the beach in Santa Cruz. Break loose.
You know, Ann, I'm not sure exactly what I'd expected, but coming here to this boardwalk is like going back in time.
It's like time traveling, isn't it? The nostalgia appeal is very, very strong. And I think that certainly is one of the reasons that this park has lasted when so many others on the West Coast have gone under. There are other reasons, of course, but the nostalgia of bringing your family back, your children, your grandchildren, is very strong.
It's hard to picture a time when there wasn't a series of attractions on the beach for tourists to enjoy. The man responsible for consolidating a bunch of separate attractions into one singular, cohesive boardwalk was called Fred Swanton. Fred was born in Brooklyn in 1862, where his parents took him to Coney Island as a young child. He moved to Santa Cruz at the age of 6, where he attended public school and completed his education at Heald College of Business. Swanton would go on to found many different businesses and companies, most of which he would either lose or have to sell. These companies include railroads, pharmacies, hotels, chromium mines, trolley cars, billboards, an opera house, and eventually, the boardwalk itself. A promoter to the core, he enticed grand figures like President Teddy Roosevelt to come to Santa Cruz to increase tourism before he built his first casino. He became so well known that people started calling the city Santa Cruz. He wanted to make Santa Cruz the Atlantic City of the West, so he sold his shares of his power, railroad, and electric trolley companies to free up his time and his capital. But it wasn't an easy journey. The first casino he built burned down after just 2 years of operation, but he was able to build a new one in time for the next summer season with the help of about 500 workers.
Well, there's definitely plenty to do on the boardwalk, and plenty of food, too. Everything from hot dogs on a stick to chicken in a basket to corn on the cob. Of course, one of my favorites was the soft ice cream cone dipped in chocolate. This was my first one.
Swanton possessed a silver tongue and was able to convince the Southern Pacific Railroad into giving him a 5-coach train run to Nevada and back, promoting Santa Cruz as the vacationer's paradise. The entire way, the train was decked out with civic leaders, advertising men, and 2 brass bands, all of whom gave out souvenirs, streamers, pamphlets, and free alcohol. Swanton's post-fire slogan was "Never a dull moment," which was a pretty accurate description of the boardwalk for the next 10 years. His next project was a huge luxury hotel called the Casa del Rey that was modeled after East Coast country clubs. It opened in 1911, the same year as the Carousel, situated on what is now the parking lot. It had a pedestrian bridge that connected to the Coconut Grove, so people could walk from their hotel to the ballroom and never set foot outside. To complete his country club image, Swanton planned to create a golf resort on the land that is now Pogonip. In 1915, due to overspending, mismanagement, and a depressed national economy, Swanton was forced to sell the boardwalk to a group of investors who were led by the owner of the Santa Cruz Seaside Company. In 1924, the same year as the opening of the Giant Dipper, Swanton convinced the Chamber of Commerce to sponsor the first annual Miss California pageant at the boardwalk, an event that drew over 2,000 people and saw record levels of attendance. The pageant would go on hiatus in 1928, be revived in 1933, and moved to San Diego in 1985 due to increasing protests.
Break loose on the boardwalk, on the beach
Swanton was the kind of man who was constantly moving from one enterprise to the next, founding over 100 companies in his lifetime. Always looking to the future, he bought the land on Westcliff to turn into housing, but ultimately failed to turn a profit, as not enough people were interested in living in Santa Cruz at the time. He would eventually deed all 27 acres to the city, including what is now Natural Bridges State Park. Later in life, Swanton was struggling financially, filing for bankruptcy in 1930. Serving his second term as mayor, he was unable to cover his $57,000 in personal debts. He died in 1940, virtually penniless. His relentless promotion led to tourist trade on a massive scale that has endured in Santa Cruz for over 100 years.